Good morning and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in as always. Yes, indeed. Please do get comfortable, get cozy, and enjoy the story today. We have an amazing one, and this is Jack's Amazing Shadow, and it is written and illustrated by Tom Percival. So I am glad you're here. I am happy that you've joined us this morning for another great story right here on Story Time. Thank you so much for joining in today, and I hope you enjoy this story. And please remember that on Friday you can join us live and tinker with us with Story Time and the Tinkering Studio team from the Exploratorium. So please do join in and have fun with us. Send us those pictures as you will be working, and we'll give you the platforms on where you can do that. But remember, you can join us live right here on Storytime on Facebook, 10:30 Pacific time. But the stream will also be live on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So please do join in and have fun. I promise you it is a good one and you will enjoy it. Please do join in. And remember, this week we are looking at Light and Shadow, and we've read 2 amazing books so far. This is our 3rd one, and we'll have 2 more to go after this. More great books. Thank you so much for joining in today. I am glad that you are here. Wherever you're joining us from, good morning to you, good afternoon, and of course good evening, depending on what part of the world you are joining us from. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today, and we are reading Jack's Amazing Shadow by Tom Percival, and we're reading this one with permission of Pavilion Books, an imprint of Bloomsbury Publishing. Thank you so much for joining in today. I am glad that you are here, and I hope you're ready for this beautiful story. Yes, indeed. And remember, on Friday we're tinkering. Storytime has teamed up with the Exploratorium, the tinkering studio at the Exploratorium, and we will be here together working on Light and Shadow. And please gather that material that you need. Look at the posts that we have up on our Facebook pages. Look them up, see what you need, and come on in and have fun. Remember, a flashlight is one of them, and look at what else you can have so you are ready for that tinkering session on Friday. I am excited. I have enjoyed it, and it's been happening in my classroom, and I think it's a great thing that the Tinkering Studio is bringing this out to you, the rest of the world. Thank you so much for joining in, and please mark your calendar. Join us on Friday for tinkering. Thank you so much for joining in for Jack's Amazing Shadow, written and illustrated by Tom Percival. And we're reading this one with permission of Pavilion Books, an imprint of Bloomsbury Publishing. Thank you so much for joining in. Let us see who is with us today. Yes, indeed. Good morning to you, Tudo. How are you doing out in San Francisco? Tudo and Madalena Iron, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in right next door. I hope you are cozy and ready for this story. Thank you so much for joining in. And all the way out in Chicago, good morning to you, Ellen Edwards. Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Tudo and Madalena one more time. San Francisco in the house. And a lot more from Illinois. Good morning to you, Sarah and Nathan. How are you doing today in snowy Illinois? Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in. And Amanda West, a big hug for you as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Mbazira, Kitumire, and Sekamwa, how are you doing today, boys? Good to see you here. Thank you so much for joining in. And Heather, good morning to you. Thank you as well. All right. Shannon Henricks, good morning to you. Elijah and Logan, I am glad you are here. Welcome to Story Time. I hope you're ready for this beautiful story that we have for you today. Jack's Amazing Shadow. Yes, indeed. I am glad you're here. Elijah and Logan, good morning to you. Thank you so much. Rose, good morning to you. How are you doing, Rosemary? Thank you so much for joining us today. Please let us know where you're joining us from and who is joining in with you. I am so glad that you are here. Thank you so much for joining in. Lucy and Wally in LA, good morning to you. And Braveman Gibbs, good morning to you as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Archie, I hope you are able to join us when we are tinkering on Friday. Thank you so much for joining in today. Karen Wilkinson, good morning to you. How are you doing today? And you say, hooray for lights and shadow stories. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I am glad you are here with us today. And of course, Karen Wilkinson is with the Exploratorium team, and we are looking forward to Friday together. I am absolutely excited, and you should be as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you, Lucy and Wally. You say Santa Waffle. Oh my goodness. Great sounding stuff out there, and is having a snow person pancake. Oh my goodness. Lucy and Wally, you have the best food that I see every time. Thank you so much for sharing and for making me hungry. Harmony Beth, how are you doing out in Alameda? Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you. I hope you're ready for today's book, and I hope to see you on Friday for our tinkering session as well. Yes, indeed, Ellen Edwards, you're saying snow in Chicago. Yes, indeed, and Sarah and Nathan as well. Thank you so much out in Chicago. Stephanie Young, good morning to you. How are you doing today? And Chloe, good morning to you, Chloe. Is this your first time on Storytime, Chloe? I am glad you are here. Thank you for joining in. Stephanie and Chloe, good morning to you. Please let us know where you are joining us from. Terry McLeod Kastweka, how are you doing? And of course, Abraham, good morning to you. How are you out in San Leandro? Thank you so much for joining in today. Yes, indeed. Muiketile, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. All right, we are going to be getting started with our story. Are you ready? Yes, indeed. All right. So this one is called Jack's Amazing Shadow, and it is written and illustrated by Tom Percival, and we're reading this one with permission of Pavilion Books, an imprint of Bloomsbury Publishing. All right, here we go. I just thought I should show you that page. I like it. Can you make any of those shapes? You should try it. Jack was a perfectly ordinary boy. He enjoyed splashing in puddles and climbing trees. Ribbit. He didn't like mushrooms, and his favorite number was usually 7. What's yours? But there was one teeny little thing about Jack that was most definitely not ordinary. And that was his amazing magical shadow. Jack and his shadow were best friends, and they always had lots of fun together. Until one day, Jack's shadow got a bit carried away. Uh-oh. And guess what? It was Jack who got the blame. Oh no. What happened? Oh, that. Oops. What was Jack to do? He tried to explain that it wasn't his fault, but for some reason, his parents didn't believe him. Tut-tut, to bed right now, they said. Jack was fed up. He wanted to be on his own. But what could he do? So he ran away from his shadow as fast as he could. But his shadow ran even faster. He jumped high into the air, and it almost worked. But as soon as he landed, his shadow was back. Oh, Jack. He tried locking his shadow outside and climbing it and clipping it to the washing line, but nothing seemed to work. Jack got crosser and crosser, but his shadow just laughed louder and louder. Oh. Go away, Shadow, shouted Jack. You are not my friend anymore. There was a long, heavy silence. Then Jack's shadow faded sadly away. Jack checked and double-checked. He couldn't believe it. Finally, he'd got rid of that pesky shadow. He whooped and laughed and cheered. But after a while, he started to feel a bit funny. Jack tried to cheer himself up, but nothing worked. Something felt wrong. Something was missing. The more he thought about it, the worse he felt. Oh, sigh, sigh, sigh. Poor Jack. Jack realized he had been mean to his very best friend. He looked for his shadow everywhere. Under the bed, in the toilet, everywhere, in the paint can, even in the attic. Where was Jack's shadow? But his shadow was nowhere to be seen. Jack felt cold inside. He worried that he would never see his friend again. But wait, what was that? Uh-oh, do you see what I see? It was his shadow. At first, neither of them knew what to say. Then, at the same time, they both said, "Sorry." And suddenly, everything was all right. Jack felt like the luckiest boy in the world. After all, nobody else had a magical shadow as a best friend. Oh. Or did they? The end. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful story, Jack's Amazing Shadow. And yes, written and illustrated by Tom Percival. And of course, reading this one with permission of Pavilion Books and Imprint of Bloomsbury Publishing. Thank you so much for joining in today. I hope you enjoyed that story. And remember that this week we are continuing to read books that explore light and shadow. And of course, this is building up to our event, 10:30 on Friday. Do join us right here on Story Time. Please spare an hour with us because we'll read our book and then we'll go into a tinkering session with the tinkering studio of the Exploratorium. They are amazing and they are here to show you amazing work. Please do join in, get your materials ready and tinker along with us. It's a lot of fun. It will be a lot of fun. I guarantee you that. Thank you so much for joining in. And this time around, you can join Storytime live right here on Facebook, but you can also join us on our YouTube channel. So please do join in on Friday for that amazing tinkering session. I hope you enjoyed this book today, but we are not done. Storytime is not done. Tomorrow we have another excellent, exciting book, and tomorrow we'll be reading Shadowville, and this one is written and illustrated by Michael Batalos. Do join in and find out what that one is all about. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I am getting excited just thinking about Friday. Please do join in. But of course, we still have books to read before then. Thank you so much for joining in. Let us see who was with us for that beautiful story and got to enjoy it. One more time, Ellen Edwards in Chicago. Thank you so much for joining in. Harmony Beth, thank you for joining in as well right here in Alameda. Stephanie Young, good morning to you, and you were joining in with Chloe today. Thank you so much for joining in. Terry McLeod and Abraham, thank you for joining us from out in San Leandro. Thank you so much, right close by. Thank you. I will see you again tomorrow. Karen Wilkinson, thank you so much. Wondering if I can share the link. Please absolutely share the link, Karen, so people can see it. Absolutely. Thank you. Close ideas, all right. Absolutely. Do share it, Karen, so people can see it. And if you can send it to me as well, I will be able to put it on the larger platform. Thank you so much for joining in today. Absolutely amazing. Natasha, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in. And Natasha, please do let me know who joined in with you and where you joined in story time today. Thank you so much. Lerato Chisomo out in Zambia. How are you doing today? Temwani, Kondwani, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for joining in. Absolutely. Well, I am happy. Just those names make me feel happy. Temwani, Kondwani. Yes, indeed. Takondwela, indeed. Thank you so much for joining in today. Absolutely love it. Shamarin Mayfield, good morning to you. How are you doing? Good. Good to see you here. I hope you're having a great day at work. Thank you so much. And I hope we spiced up your break with that story time. Thank you so much for joining in. Robinia Kapeshi, how are you doing today? Please let me know where you joined in from and who was joining in with you. Thank you so much for joining in story time. I don't remember seeing that name before, but I am glad you're here. Welcome to the story time community. Absolutely love it that you are here. Robinia Kapeshi, good morning to you. Karen Wilkinson, absolutely. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow, but of course, Friday is the big one. We will be right here with the tinkering team. Thank you so much. And Brave Man, thank you for joining in as always. Lucy liked the book. I am glad you did, Lucy. And of course, Wally, a big hug for you as well. Thank you so much for joining in. And hopefully Archie can join us. That will be awesome. We will be tinkering right here together. Thank you so much for joining in story time today. Lucy and Wally, have yourselves a beautiful day. Thank you, Shamari, and you say good morning to everybody. And of course, Stephanie Young, and Chloe, you are joining in from Los Angeles. Thank you for letting me know that. Please do enjoy your day out there. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. As always from me, it is much love, and I will see you in the morning when we are back with Shadowville. Yes, indeed, we will be traveling to Shadowville. Find out what that one is all about. Have a beautiful day. Hugs from me, and I will see you in the morning for another story. And of course, indeed, please do look out Storytime platforms and see what you need for Friday. Much love. Bye-bye.